Om Shanti and welcome back to Light of Knowledge with Brother Michael. Today we have another interesting topic for you. Running behind name and fame and handling name and fame. So without further delay, let's start this discussion. Om Shanti and welcome back to Light of Knowledge.
Yes, thanks for the invitation again, yes.
Brother Michael, as I introduced in my introduction, name and fame, that has become a rage in the society these days. Everyone wants to be known, everyone wants to be recognized. And I was kind of wondering, if you go deep down into the psychology of that, what is it that is driving a person? You know, what is the need that makes them want to be famous?
Yeah, I think the name and fame represent the success, and obviously, you know, behind that there is a need of recognition of the person again, you know, and you take the energy, and you have so many facilities, you know, when you have name and fame, and you know, you can. Whatever you think, your idea, your opinion, you can express as it impacts so many people. You feel that you have the power to impact the society when you have the name and fame. And what is interesting is, if you have been looking for name and fame, it means you have lead your life to make sure that to align yourself according to society, and after you want to give your own opinion to change society. So it's totally in contradiction.
Right, that makes a lot of sense. I never thought of it that way. Yeah, that's very interesting. But there are, especially the younger generation, you know, they see in the magazines or on media, they see all these rich and famous people, and they want to follow suit. They want to be in their footsteps. Sometimes they may take up wrong means or wrong measures to achieve that name and fame. So what would you say in this regard?
Yeah, anyway, we can say that first of all that if I look at the society, I may think the way to get name and fame, you know, and glory is to do this type of activity and job, maybe which may be crazy or not so right, or which doesn't have any interest for me, but still I do it because I know that by doing this activity, people will recognize me and they will give me a name and fame. But finally, I will not be so happy of that.
Right.
But what is interesting is, for me, name and fame is the compensation. I mean, if I do that way, if I do the wrong activity to get that, and even in the essence is because inside myself I feel that something is missing,
Right.
which I don't know how to fulfill or to satisfy. You know, globally speaking, there is a deep inner insatisfaction in each and every human being because they haven't found their way, and obviously, and so all society works by substitution and compensation.
Okay.
So name and fame is one of the greatest substitution and compensation.
Okay.
Thinking that everyone recognize me, everyone you know praise me, you know everyone you know give bravo to me, you know. So I feel so great, you know. So I take that, you know, as a packaging of truth, you know,
Okay.
and like it's me. And but finally, and when I am in the experience of that, you know, I'm in another planet. And the thing is, because I'm not myself, I remain in this planet, but without the power to maintain it. And I have to go to do some crazy things to maintain it, you know, like drugs and alcohol and prostitution and or wrong stuff, you know, wrong decision, you know, a wrong activity with friends and things like that. So, so mainly behind that, you know, substitution, compensation, you know.
Okay, I believe what you said here is the media also plays a big role because they glorify the rich and the famous and, you know, people with a lot of name and fame. And that can also send a wrong message out to the youngsters that maybe if I am famous, I'm going to be happy. But is there some kind of, maybe I can say, a lack of self-respect that you look for in the name and fame? Is that why you go behind it?
Yeah, it's what I was saying, you know, the insatisfaction, you know. In self-respect, you always connect with something. at least with one of your value, and you know that I have something which is valuable, which can use it, so I can make more value in my life and myself, you know. So, but when you don't have that self-respect, okay, so then you say, well, you know, I'm looking for something outside, and obviously to make the difference in between, is my aim is to have name and fame, or is my aim is to act or to find the aim which makes sense for me, which is my purpose, you know, or which is meaningful. And anyway, even with that, I take quite a lot inner satisfaction. So even if I'm not name and fame with that, it's still okay. Not completely okay, because what also I really believe is, if I really find the right, true purpose of life, I will impact so many people, you know, in my journey of life, that people will really love me, appreciate me, respect me, and the name and fame will come naturally, but I will watch it as a result of my success in my journey of life. So I will not be so much impacting by the name and fame. It's just, you know, the improvement of my success, of my personal success. So it's totally different, you know.
Right. Yeah. The objective is completely different. I mean, here we're talking about somebody who tries to do something to be famous. And here we have another person who is doing her job, going about her way, and automatically becomes famous as a result of her actions. We have real life examples too, like maybe I can say Mahatma Gandhi. And in Brahma Kumaris too, I'm sure, you know, our Dadijis, if we talk about our senior Dadijis, their life has shown that they did not go out looking for name and fame. Would that be a correct statement?
Yeah, you know, when I'm thinking about purpose of life and meaning of life, it's something which has to satisfy your need and also a need of the society. So if, and for me, systematically, the right purpose has that connection on both sides. If it's just to satisfy just my own personal need, which can be of money and my friend or my wife or something like that, it will never be enough for the fulfillment of the meaning of life and the purpose of life.
Right.
It has to be something where I give my contribution to humanity, you know,
Right.
in one way or the others.
Right.
So obviously, as you take the example of Gandhi and or senior sister like Daddy Yankee or Daddy Komarka, which has become very famous, you know, yes, they played a part of satisfying the need of the soul, which are the greatest need, you know, and they did that by satisfying their own need, which means as they transform themselves, they have the power to help people to transform themselves and to be more happy with themselves, more respectful to themselves, and to be more content with themselves, you know. So obviously when someone is allowing me to be more content and happy with me, I will say, well, you are a great person, you know, and I love you, and I will speak to my friend and neighbor about this person, and the sound will spread, you know.
Right, right. You know, I'm wondering about name and fame and success. Would you say that name and fame is synonymous to success in life?
I will say is the acknowledgement of your success. Success, first of all, you know, it starts with your own capacity of knowing if I have success or not, because your own success will give you the feeling of greatness, of contentment, of happiness, of improvement, and you have good relationship, and you know that you did right and good and well. So so on his own is fine enough, is good enough. But obviously the name and fame will add something more, another flavor, which I'm not looking for, but which will make the final point of your success.
Okay. But again, coming back to the happiness part, will that necessarily give me happiness? Because here, you know, it may give me temporary happiness. But in spirituality, we're looking for that inner happiness. So is this the message that needs to go out there for people who are running after name and fame?
No, the thing is, is not name and fame which is giving you happiness, you know. Your happiness is coming from using your positive, pure energy in the good task, you know, which bring you benefits. So all these pure virtuous cycle give you happiness, you know. Then name and fame is just something on the top. Is you know, as in French we say, the cherry on the cake. You know, but the cherry of the cake give more aestheticism, decoration, more than the taste, or but just the visualization. But what I will eat with more pleasure is the cake, not the cherry. You know.
That's right. But if you look at it from another angle, you know, a person who is never in the limelight or who is not known to many, when they pass away, they'll probably, or when they are in their last stages of life, that may bring upon some kind of discontent. Whereas a person who is well known may feel that, okay, I'm successful, and you know, there'll be a lot more people who are aware that he exists. I mean, the very word name suggests that a lot more people know about you. So does that play heavily on the mind of a person that, okay, I'm going to die without, nobody knows me, maybe just a handful of people know me. Whereas a famous person will feel, oh, there are a lot more people who know me and maybe they're going to grieve for me.
You know, very connected with that, there is a deep spiritual wisdom which says that wherever you are, at any moment, in any circumstance of life, you have to leave your memorial. Which means, but you have to understand in the proper way, you know, which means your attitude, your value, your goodness, your wisdom, what you have shared, the quality of your conversation, that is your memorial. Which means it is what that people will keep, you know, within themselves, you know, as a souvenir of you, and this is the memorial. And if you do that, you know, if you have that awareness, it's a way of working in life, you know, that to create your spiritual life. It's the aim of spiritual life. If you think any moment is a special moment, I have to leave a memorial. So let me understand the importance of this moment. Let me express the best of myself in this moment so that I'm impacting in such a beautiful way, you know, my surroundings, that they will remember forever that moment, you know. And if I lead my life in that way at each day, you know, each and every day of my life, well, I guess, you know, anyway, in this process, I'm progressing, I'm improving, I'm rising, I'm growing, you know, I'm getting better, you know, I'm getting a very special person for sure, you know, and more person will knows me, you know.
Right.
So, and that is a spiritual wisdom to act in this way. But you see, the thing is, I'm not looking for the name and fame. I'm looking for giving the best of myself to them.
Right.
So it's totally different.
Right.
And by giving the best of myself, that will create the memorial and that will create the name and fame.
Okay. But why is it emphasized so much in spirituality that do not go after name and fame? You know, you just be incognito, just do your part and let go of the fruit. All these things we listen to about in spirituality. So why is there so much emphasis on this aspect?
Okay. When a spiritual person, you know, has a very specific task, you know, and, you know, for example, myself, when I have to give a lecture, I like to have a time of concentration, of silence, of introspection, of solitude, you know. But if I have so much name and fame, or you know, people will come to me, you know, or if I created that, you know, you know, the thing is, if I've played a part of, you know, using my name and fame, which means people are used to me expressing myself to them, so they know that they can come to me because I'm playing the part, you know. And at that time, you know, I lose my concentration and my idea will not be so bright, you know, in my lecture and things like that, you know. So that is a very practical aspect, you know, for not playing the part of entering in the name and fame with people, you know.
Okay.
So about the fruit is, yes, there is an expression is, don't eat the green fruit, you know. What does it mean? It means that when I make spiritual effort, when I achieve something, when I have success, when people praise me, when people give me more respect and cooperation, I may take advantage and I can go into the familiarity of it.
Okay.
And that means to eat the fruit, to the green fruit.
Okay.
But not to not eat the green fruit means no matter how much people give me more respect, more cooperation, I remain in my inner discipline of my value and respect for everyone, so that I keep on maintaining the right attitude to do the right job.
Right. As I was listening to you, I just had this thought that maybe there is like a feeling of surrender to, like, if I'm a spiritual person and if I don't go behind name and fame, then I'm saying that it is not me. It is, some higher power that is playing through me. So then I won't have that need or the desire to run after name and fame.
There is two things: is running after name and fame, but when there is name and fame is there, I will not reject it, but I will not take it.
Okay.
I will acknowledge it, and I will let it happen, but I will know that I can use that to reveal the higher power.
Okay, that's very nicely said. That's very true. Now we go to the other side of the coin. Someone has become famous, has a lot of name in the society. There may come a point in time in life when they're not able to handle that, because maybe there's too much pressure coming from the society. What should a person do when they find themselves in this situation?
Well, the thing is, when you have been looking for something and you get it, that is overpowering you. You don't have the power to deal with that, So you get what you wanted to get, in some way. So then at that moment, obviously, if you are smart enough, clever enough, and you understand that I reach a point where, when you have been targeting the name and fame, which means you have adjust your life in such a way which will get that. So now you have labeled yourself with that,
Yes.
and not to move away from that, people of the outside will not understand. Say, but you are someone else. How can it be? So you cheat us or what going on, So you have to be very careful about that. But obviously, if because you were innocent, unconscious, or naive, or because society has been so much, empowering, impacting you, influencing you, that you have been in that way and playing a part that society wants from you, which is in fact conformisms, which will never allow you to be yourself, and at some point, and that is why, at some point, you reach the point, I'm not myself, you realize it, and you don't know how to be yourself, and you are in the, I will say, in the bondage of the habit of the conformisms. Usually what you do, you just, try to move in all the possible way to get rid of that bondage, to cut the bondage. But you haven't the proper method.
Right.
Right. And then you can damage many things because of that.
Right. One thought I also had now was when you're rich and famous, or you have the name and fame, there are a lot of people who want to make acquaintances with you just for the reason that you're famous. But they may not necessarily be interested in you as a person, or not necessarily interested in developing a kind of relationship, a true relationship with you. Maybe that can also leave a feeling of emptiness within, that I have all these people running after me, but I don't have that one true connection with anyone. So that can leave me like feeling empty within.
Yeah, it's quite a lot of disappointment, disillusion, deception of people, because in some way, if you have been running towards name and fame, we have to see, in fact, in which awareness you played a part consciously. So, okay, you are a very good actor. Okay, thanks, bravo. Because you can move away from that eventually. But you have been totally conditioned to do that. Then obviously when people act towards you according to that, at some point you feel you are not nourished by that type of relationship, you know. And it is at that moment that you feel that all your life has been a total failure, in fact, instead of being successful.
Right.
Because it's not, everything is false finally.
Right, right.
But if you have played a part consciously and you play with those who are playing with you, okay, if you want to play that game and if as long as you can play that game is okay for you. But anyway, at some point, no way, you have to pay the bill.
That's true. What role does meditation play in this? Somebody who is rich and famous and they're feeling empty within. And would spirituality be the answer for this?
Well, always meditation is let's go back to the self, you know.
Yeah.
Let's go back to at least one value which is really there, and let me start with using that value and live with that value and feel that value, feel from within, you know. And you know, it's like myself. One of my realization, you know, after 40 years, we realized something very simple, but I was meditating and connected with the source of energy and power. And I said to myself when I leave the meditation, no, I should acknowledge all I take, all I feel. So much better, different, more empowered, more detached, more concentrate. Let me acknowledge that and let me use that in a proper way, you know. So as soon as you meditate and take something good, just focus on what you take and let create your feeling on the new achievement you get from your meditation.
Thank you, Brother Simon, for giving us a clarity on how to handle name and fame and also the deep psychological reasons for running after name and fame. It has been a very interesting conversation, and thank you for being with us.
Yes, thanks, it's my pleasure.
A very important message today from Brother Michael. Name and fame should not be the goal of our life, but it should be a result of the actions that we perform in our life. And with these wise words, we would like to conclude this episode. And as always, thank you all for watching us. Until we see you again on Light of Knowledge, take care and Om Shanti.